Welcome to the ePortfolio. You will use this ePortfolio as a tool to complete and record your quality assurance obligations as a member of the college. This video will provide you with an overview of how to complete these yearly obligations. Tips for completing the QA profile. You must complete the QA profile each year. Click Edit QA Profile. Select the year using the drop-down menu. Reflect on your practice and identify whether there have been, or will be, changes to your practice in the coming year. For example, there may have been changes to your practice environment, new procedures, equipment, or new legislation that affects you. There are no right or wrong answers. The purpose of this form is to encourage self-reflection by members regarding the scope of practice and authorized acts. Please read each question carefully. For example, Authorized Acts Number 5 states, applying a prescribed form of energy and applies to electromagnetism and sound waves only. X-rays and other forms of ionizing radiation are covered under separate acts. This authorized act applies only to members performing or supporting the performance of magnetic resonance imaging or ultrasound. Not all members will perform authorized acts in their practice. In fact, some may not perform any of the authorized acts. Don't forget that you must have the knowledge, skills, and judgment to safely perform an authorized act before you can perform it. You may decide that you wish to enhance your knowledge or skill related to a specific authorized act and complete continuing education or professional development activities, or develop a learning goal for that specific authorized act. You can go to the QA profile to update it throughout the year. At the end of the page, click Save. You may download or print your responses at this point. Tips for completing the self-assessment. Each year, you must complete the self-assessment. You can go back to it and update it throughout the year. In this area, you must complete a minimum of 2 of the practice standards and the indicators related to that practice standard applicable to your specialty or specialties. There are no right or wrong answers. The purpose of the self-assessment is to encourage self-reflection regarding the standards of practice and to identify areas for continuing education and professional development. Not all members will perform all the practice standards or the related indicators. You may choose 2 practice standards and the related indicators that best reflect your practice or where you'd like to focus your learning activities. You may choose to complete 2 different practice standards for your self-assessment in subsequent years, or you may choose to complete the same 2. On the Self-Assessment main page, click Edit Self-Assessment. Select the year using the drop-down menu. Select the practice standards you wish to begin with. You are required to complete a minimum of 2, but are welcome to complete more than 2 if you choose. For each practice standard, answer the questions by clicking the appropriate radio buttons pertaining to your specialty or specialties. You may provide additional details using the text boxes at the bottom of the page. At the end of the page, click Save. You may download or print your responses at this point. Tips for completing and recording your continuing education and professional development activities. On the Record of Continuing Education and Professional Development main page, click Edit the Record of Continuing Education and Professional Development. You are required to complete at least 25 hours of continuing education and professional development activities in every calendar year and record them in this tab. To complete the record of continuing education and professional development activities, select the year using the drop-down box. Click Add Activity and fill out all the boxes marked with a red asterisk. You can also use the Upload Evidence button to add additional supporting documents to your ePortfolio. Make sure that you click the Save Changes button before navigating away. You can print a copy or download a PDF version for your records from this page. You may choose learning activities to address the areas of enhancement identified on your self-assessment. Don't forget that you can only count those learning activities that you have completed in this year. You cannot carry over learning activities from one year to the next. Here's how to fill out the form. The title of activity is the name of the activity. For example, if you read an article, it would be the title of the article. If you attended a webinar or presentation, it would be the title of that presentation or webinar. Specify the activity type by using the drop-down menu to describe how the learning was obtained. For example, a seminar, webinar, professional reading, or course. The presenter/author name must be an actual person's name, such as Mary Smith, MD, and not a generic term such as manager, doctor, or journal. Record the amount of time taken to complete the activity in fractions of hours. For example, 30 minutes would be recorded as 0.5 hours. 15 minutes would be 0.25 hours. Start and end date should cover the range of dates when you did an activity if it was a multi-day course. The dates may be the same if it was a short activity completed within one day. Use the drop-down box to select the learning outcome that best reflects your learning. Enter your reflection in the text box. You must explain what you learned and also explain how that specific learning has helped in your practice. This is one of the criteria that the QA committee uses in its assessment to determine whether a learning activity is acceptable. If your reflection is too vague or simply states mandatory learning or great lecture, this is not enough detail in your reflection. If you are training students or staff, you may only enter the hours that are your learning and not that of the student. For example, this could be the time it takes you to prepare teaching material. If you complete more than 25 hours of continuing education and professional development activities in a year, you can record them here too, so that you have all the information in one location. You don't have to stop recording at 25 hours. This is your ePortfolio and is a great tool to keep records of all your learning activities each year. The Summary tab. The Summary tab opens a record of all your QA activity. You can choose the year you wish to view using the drop-down menu under the title. The Summary shows the completion status of the required QA profile, self-assessment, and record of continuing education and professional development, and has links to each of the sections. The links will take you to the correct tab, so you can review and complete your documentation should any section be marked incomplete. Remember that all 3 sections must be completed by December 31st every year. If you are selected for a random portfolio assessment, you can submit your ePortfolio for assessment by clicking the Submit button, which is found on this page. Only those members that have been selected for assessment will have the Submit button on the summary page. Completing jurisprudence. The jurisprudence section is not a mandatory yearly obligation. It is found in your ePortfolio as an excellent resource for members to find up-to-date information regarding the legislation that governs your practice. It consists of a series of 8 modules relating to the 5 specialties within the practice of medical radiation and imaging technology. If you wish to complete the jurisprudence course, select the module you wish to test yourself on by clicking the Module button. In each module, the top of the page shows a progress indicator, color-coded to show the number of questions you attempted and the results as you go through the quiz. After reading each question, use the Radio button to select your answer. If you would like to review the material prior to answering the questions, click the View button to open the PDF for the module. Each module also has resource links specific to each module located on the left-hand side of the page. You can use the Back and Next navigation buttons to complete another question if you are unsure of your answer and want to come back later. If you click Submit this question, your response is graded and cannot be changed. You must wait until you complete the quiz before you can retry a question that was answered incorrectly. You are required to attain 100% on each quiz for it to be marked complete. There is no limit on the number of attempts.